This is Melissa McGinnis with Long Beach Local News, and it's one of my favorite days. I always look forward when we get to visit with the watchdog. Yours truly, Miss Laura Doud. Thank you for having us today.
Well, thank you for coming. It's nice to have you.
Well, this is so exciting. We're going to talk about your 2016 annual work report and accomplishments report.
Great.
Which is like a huge document, and it explains what you've done in the past for 2015. I know that you launched the fraud hotline in 2016, or you relaunched it. Tell us, how did that work out for you?
That was really fantastic. Thank you for asking that great question. The viewers listened and they became aware of fraud. They called our office. We received numerous calls. We followed up on those calls. And 3 of our main audits in 2015 were a result of those fraud hotline calls.
Are we allowed to ask you about those?
Yes, absolutely. So we, the first one was the 911 dispatch audit report with the police and fire department. We found that there was excessive overtime. 22% of their salaries were spent on overtime due to some vacant positions, and it created an unsafe work environment. So we recommended that they go on a better recruiting effort. They took our recommendations to heart. They have made, they've implemented our recommendations, and the overtime has gone down. So I think overall it was a huge success.
So you're saving the city money by not paying so much overtime, but you're also providing better quality service for us as the public, because we're not dealing with people that are maybe tired or overworked or not making clear choices.
Exactly, yes. So due to dispatcher fatigue, I do want to say they do a fantastic job with the millions of calls they receive every year. I mean, they receive a ton of calls. They are very well trained in what they do, but like you said, they may have been a bit overworked with all the overtime, and that was a result of a fraud hotline call to us, and we investigated, found out it was true, and now changes have been made. So
amazing. So it's a win-win. Can we ask you, from the fraud hotline, is it someone that's working internally that calls in with the tip?
There's a number of people. Thank you for mentioning about the tips. Tips are our greatest detection mode for finding things. We receive tips from the public. We receive tips from businesses, in-house employees, vendors, and numerous people call in. But it is confidential when they call in. There's a whistleblower protection that protects whistleblowers from calling in, so that they can remain anonymous.
This is why we love Miss Doud. If you haven't met her before, heard what she does, she fights for you. So if you have something that you might want to get off your chest, or you feel might be a valuable tip that could help save the city money, or just maybe something you're worried about, you can call what number? 1-888-FRAUD-07. Please call if you suspect fraud. There is zero tolerance. We all suffer as a result of it, and our office will follow up on it. And the city suffers. You've been notorious in creating audits that therefore finds money to be allocated for other things that we as citizens enjoy, like parks and things like that.
Right, absolutely. And we are an independent office elected by the people. We report to the people. We are striving to do everything we can to make the city's services most efficient and beneficial for the residents of Long Beach. So we want to hear from them.
We love that. Okay, so you mentioned 3 total audits last year. Can you just tell us about the other 2? Because these are really exciting for us to hear these wins.
Sure, yes. And one was the emergency board-up services. There's a contract that the city has regarding emergency board-up services. That was a fraud hotline call. They were overcharged for some emergency board-ups. And we looked into it and found that the city was paying subcontractors, and the vetting process for the subcontractors was inefficient and inadequate and not up to standards. And the city ended up paying more for these subcontractors, increasing the price in their contracts for just paying more than they should have paid. And so that was as a result of the fraud hotline, and that is no longer happening.
Wow, once again, she's fighting for you. Thank you so much. And then there was a final one?
Right, with the vehicle lien sales. So cars that are impounded, that are not picked up over a time, the city sells those vehicles. And we found that, that there were inefficient revenue collecting processes over the vehicle lien sales, in addition to the personal property attached to those vehicles, the management and the inventory of personal property was inefficient, and so we made recommendations for better revenue collecting and tracking and monitoring of the vehicle sales as well as personal property. So that was another.
So you were able to find additional revenue by making sure some of the personal property was also being sold as an additional revenue?
That's right, and there was a police investigation report prior to our audit that found some city employees had stolen some personal property and who are no longer now with the city.
Wow, Ms. Doud. Well, thank you again for keeping your eyes and ears open, but you also rely heavily on the public's input, so it's so incredible. Thank you for sending your tips to her office. What are other ways that they can get a hold of you? I know you have the anonymous hotline tip, but you also have other two-way communications.
Right, and that's really important for us so the public knows that we're accessible, we're available, we want to hear from you. Like I mentioned, we're an independent office that reports to the public. So we have a new My Auditor app now available at the App Store, and it's free download at the App Store and at Google Play. And also we have a redesigned website that is much more user-friendly for mobile devices, and it's at www.cityauditorlauradoud.com. So our office has an account on Facebook and Twitter, and so these are opportunities for a two-way communication to take place with us and the public, reporting our news and our reports and what we're doing, as well as if they have information and concerns on their mind to communicate with us. We monitor that very carefully and want to hear from them.
This office is completely transparent, so they would definitely want to hear from you. You could simply pick up the phone and call your office.
Right, yes, at 562-570-6751. And we have someone here during normal business hours. I do want to mention the fraud hotline is available 24/7. And again, you're protected if you choose to call and be protected.
This is a really special and valuable thing for this city. Not every city offers this, and we're really lucky to have Ms. Doud looking out for us and fighting for us and finding money that might otherwise have gone missing or misaccounted for.
Last night at the city council meeting, we had a Prop H audit report on the agenda, and that report tracks the money from the oil production tax audit we did, where the voters voted to increase the oil production tax by the oil producers when they extract oil from the ground, and that extra money was used for police and fire. Our office was charged to ensure that money was being spent appropriately for police and fire, and last night our item to the council and to the public reported yes, indeed, the money being collected by the city is being used for police and fire. So just as you mentioned, this is a tangible benefit to the people of Long Beach. There are more police officers on the street, more firefighters fighting for our residents today, and a brand new fire truck fully loaded with the best equipment and supplies for the purpose of protecting the safety of our residents. And I just think it's a fabulous thing, and like you mentioned, we are transparent. We put our reports all on our website. We report to the city council. We report to the news. We love to speak to you, and we love it that you communicate with the public as well. So we're really pleased, but we have a lot more work to do. And
so what are some of the things you're looking forward to for 2016? What do you have in the docket?
Our new annual work plan talks about one of the things is the city spends millions of dollars on outside contracts. And since I've been here, we really haven't audited the service contracts. So we selected 10 different contracts throughout several different departments. We're auditing them right now to make sure that there's proper oversight, management, and that the city is getting the best value from those contracts. We will then condense those 10 audits into one report, one comprehensive report, and we'll be issuing that in a few months. So that'll be one to look out for.
We'll be back for that one, absolutely. Well, we can't thank you again for all of the work you do. I would suggest that your role is one of the most important roles here in Long Beach. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. The city charter does give this office the authority to audit, to look at, to review any office, program, agency, department. We have enormous latitude and authority to look at any department to make sure that the city government is working most efficiently for the people of Long Beach. It is a big responsibility, but you're right, we have the authority to do that, and we do take it seriously.
She's one tough cookie. You can download and review this report, which is fascinating, at your website, which again is
www.cityauditorlauradoud.com.
Take a look at this. You'll find it fascinating as well. And don't forget to give any of your tips over to this office. They're going to handle it, take it seriously. And again, thank you, Ms. Doud. We'll be back to visit with you really soon.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.